Good evening. It is Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. This evening I want to look at Psalm 139, verses 1 to 6, and I'll be reading from the New Living Translation, second edition. O Lord, you've examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit down or stand up. You know my thoughts, even when I'm far away. You see me when I travel and when I rest at home. You know everything I do. You know what I'm going to say before I say it, Lord. You go before me and follow me. You place your hand of blessing on my head. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too great for me to understand. How beautiful it is that God knows us. A somewhat common and very mistaken belief system is that God just kind of set the universe in motion and then went back to heaven just to watch and see what would happen with his great experiment. This is the false concept that God is not involved in our lives, that prayer is not real and doesn't work, and the idea of a personal relationship with God is just not realistic. I am so glad that those are false ideas. The psalmist says that God has searched us, examined us, and knows us inside and out. He knows everything about us. He knows the actions of our daily lives, whether we are sitting or standing. He knows our thoughts, no matter how far away from him we feel like we have traveled. When I was a small child, we had some neighbors down the street who we visited regularly. My childlike memory is that they lived a long ways away, that it was a great distance to walk. When I visited the neighborhood as an adult, I was surprised when I realized they were only 3 houses away. It was amazing how that perception of distance changed as an adult. You know, God knows my thoughts, whether I feel close to him or I feel like the distance is huge. He knows our thoughts. He knows everything we do. God is close, no matter how far I perceive the distance to be. He knows our words. Sometimes I don't even know what I will say in a given situation. But God already knows my words before I speak. He knows both my good words and my bad words. He goes before us to prepare the way, and he makes things ready for us. And he goes after us to clean up after the mess we made. So often the ugly circumstances of our lives lead us to think that we're all alone, out on a limb, all by ourselves, trying desperately not to fall off. And the psalmist reminds us that God has been there before we got there and has prepared the way. Sometimes we wake up at night fretting over some series of actions or consequences of words we regret and we wish we could take back. It says God follows behind us. And I think he cleans up our messes and fixes the things we left wrong. God goes before us and follows us. Then the psalmist said that God places his hand of blessing on our head. Out of all of God's hands, I like the hand of blessing the best. I'm always afraid of the backhand of God's judgment, the strong right hand of his power, and even the lifted hand of his justice. But this psalm promises that God places his hand of blessing on my head. Such knowledge of God's actions is indeed too high for my small brain to comprehend. I cannot understand it, but I can believe it and trust it. God's hand of blessing is on our heads. God is indeed glorious. May God bless you.